Okay, well, we're Fred Balls Fastenings, and the company was founded by Fred Balls, hence the rather unusual name, knowing that nobody ever forgets. I think it was founded in 1984 by Fred himself, working in a garage, and here we are all these years later with a multi-million-pound company, still privately owned, still got that family feel about it, and we tend now to specialise in importing wood screws and self-tappers in large volumes to supply large volume OEMs and Kanban users, that sort of profile of customer. Currently we've got just the one site here with no particular plans on an increasing of that, and on site we have a 7-user system for Merlin that treats us very well as far as we're concerned. Previous to Merlin, we had a bespoke system here that was written by one of the previous directors of the company. It was a DOS-based system, so it rather held us back to some extent. All we had was what that particular guy could write, and again, with it being on DOS, it meant that moving forward or adding anything new was a real struggle. So we were very limited. So once Richard and I became responsible for the direction of the company, we knew that straight away we had to move on and get something that was a little bit more dynamic. When the previous director left the company and Richard and I became responsible for moving the company forward, it became obvious that we had a system that we couldn't rely on because it was reliant on a guy no longer within the company. So we made the decision that we had to get hold of something that was modern, dynamic, that could take the company forward. And we wanted something that was basically Windows based as well. That was important because all the guys working here have a PC at home and are used to Windows, whereas having to work with DOS was just a no-no. And it was archaic and it made us look rather archaic. So it was a matter of moving forward as quickly as we could. We had a look at the market and quickly identified 3 or 4 products on the market by looking through the trade press and looking on the internet. We had a look at all those items, got it down to a couple that we were really interested in, and decided that we would major in on those 2 products and make a decision between them. The thing that we were looking for was this dynamic window-based system, and in the final analysis, Merlin looked as though it was going to give us what we wanted, and having been to both sites of the companies that we were looking at, we came away from the Chesterfield meeting really impressed with what we saw there. That isn't to say that the other company was that far behind, but what really impressed us was it was a true Windows-based development, and we were impressed with all the background that we saw at Chesterfield in terms of support and the engineers, and just the general feeling that we got from meeting the people there. And it was a little bit of, the old adage of people do business with people, and we just thought that the people at Chesterfield were very, very good. And that pretty much made our minds up in the end. Implementation was a real worry for us because we had this DOS-based system that had been written by this guy almost as a part-time hobby within the company. And when we presented it to the software guys at Chesterfield, they were sort of pretty much horrified by what there was on our system. Data capture was obviously going to be a real problem. But we take our hat off to the guys down at Chesterfield. They got stuck into it and they managed to peel our data off the old system. Bit more of a intricate job for them, I think, than taking data off the normal Sage type system that they've been used to. Anyway, they peeled the data off, loaded it all up onto Merlin for us, and hey presto, on day 1, which was March the 1st, it worked. And the overall implementation was pretty smooth. Lots of support here on the first couple of days of running with Merlin, plenty of guys down here, and then as we got more and more into the system, good telephone support over ensuing days, and then within about a week we were away, and have been ever since. The biggest benefit we've seen from Merlin has been transparency. On the previous system, transparency was very difficult because anything we wanted off the system had to go through the guy who had written it. Now we've got a system where you can see everything on the screen, you can drill down, you can export data and then manipulate it. It's just absolutely excellent. We can see what our best selling items are, our least slow selling items, our most profitable items that are maybe running at a loss. We can see the best customers, the worst customers. It's there. It's there. Everything you need to run a business profitably and to run it well is there. Currently looking at moving forward with barcoding. That's got to be the major move forward for us in the very short term. We're very keen on getting that going. We're looking at wherever we can, saving time by not having to input data on manually, but try to do it by electronic capture, and eventually not only having barcoding to help us in that, but we're quite keen to move to EDI, that sort of thing, capturing data from Android devices, tablets. So we're just starting along that road, but for us as a small company, we see that delivers a lot of benefits because it allows us to control the cost base quite neatly and quite tightly, grow the business without adding a lot of extra cost in. And at the moment, the guys down at Chesterfield are looking at various options for us. So it's not just you've got to have this or you've got to have that. They're really keen to help us do it on a tight cost basis as well. Get us the best option for the least cost, and we're hoping that over the next few months that'll start to come to fruition. The other thing we've got going on in the background is we've got a website that's being built for us that's can be integrated with Merlin. Once we get that up and running, we're keen to get that integrated through the system as well. If I had to pick a favourite aspect of Merlin, I'd actually pick two. The first one I would pick is support. And for us, the support side of things is absolutely excellent. We get good support whenever we need it, and it's pretty much instant, very direct and very helpful. But the other side to that is, it does mean that either myself or business partner Richard can go out, leave the business, and should any catastrophe befall us, then any of the guys here can pick the phone up, get all the support, and know that there's somebody at the end of the phone who can help them get the system back up and running or solve any glitches that they've got. That means, again, from us, it means we don't have to employ an IT person, or we don't have to have somebody trained in IT. You know, we've got that extra person already, and it's Merlin support, and that's worth a lot to us. And the other thing is the updates. Going back to what we said originally at the beginning of this interview, it gives us a dynamic system. Previously, we only had what we could write in-house, and we only had what ideas we had in-house. The updates give us access to a whole raft of new ideas from what's being generated down at Chesterfield, but also input from all the other users, because those updates are being driven by other members of the Merlin family. So we're benefiting from a whole range of ideas that are coming into Chesterfield and then being redistributed outwards. So, it gives us that dynamic system that we never had previously. Of course it would. Yeah, it's been really good for us. It works well. Everybody likes working with it, from me down to the lads in the warehouse. It does what we want. Excellent.